So the president's having dinner tonight with key Republicans on getting this whole health care thing back on track. Here's hoping they ruin his appetite. In fact, everyone's appetite. Here's hoping they get brutally blunt with the president. Here's hoping they give him some food for thought and let him know if he keeps doing what he's doing, they'll all be politically puking next year. He'll get angry. Some of them will get angry, probably furious. Maybe start tweeting about the first one who dares question his wisdom, like he did today when he tweeted, and I quote, "The fake mainstream media is working so hard trying to get me not to use social media. They hate that I can get the honest and unfiltered message out." Mr. President, it's not the fake news media that's your problem. It's you. It's not just your tweeting, it's your scapegoating. It's your refusal to see that sometimes you're the one who's feeding your own beast and acting beastly with your own guys. Those are your guys, Mr. President. They're on your team, Mr. President. And right about now, they seem shell-shocked and dejected, though looking at their deer in the headlight eyes, I bet they're too afraid to tell you. Now, they're not perfect, but they do have your back. As no less than the Wall Street Journal muses today, do you have theirs? Mr. President, they didn't tweet disparaging comments about a London mayor in the middle of a murder spree. You did. They didn't create that needless distraction. You did. They didn't get you off your very valid and very promising agenda. You did. They didn't turn on a travel ban that you signed. You did. You're right to say a lot of people are out to get you, Mr. President. They are. But as the Journal pointed out, the buck stops with you, Mr. President, and risks ruining the very promising economic agenda that has buoyed spirits and the markets because of you, Mr. President. That's good. Look at these critiques you're now hearing from usually friendly and supportive allies as sort of like an intervention. Because firing off these angry misses and tweets risks your political destruction. Quoting the Journal, if this pattern continues, Mr. Trump may find himself running an administration with no one but his family and the Breitbart staff. People of talent and integrity won't work for a boss who undermines them in public without thinking about the consequences. Consequences for them and you, Mr. President, and the Journal knows because they like you. They like your agenda. I find it ironic that on this, the 73rd anniversary of D-Day, some of your most ardent backers are desperately girding for another battle, not for Normandy, for normalcy, for sticking to an agenda that matters and not silly distractions that do not. That is what your most ardent supporters are pushing for you to keep pushing. They want you signing legislation, not settling endless scores. They're not saying never let them see you tweet. They are saying never let them see you sweat. Remember, no one ever said that Harry Truman didn't have a temper or that Ronald Reagan a long memory. They just preferred giving their critics hell than telling them to go to hell. Now, just because your own critics never thought that you'd make it to the White House does not mean you shouldn't listen to those who want you to thrive and succeed in the White House. They're not the problem, Mr. President. Like I said, these days, you are.